Hey there, it's me, back to chit and chat with you about reclaiming that beautiful, glorious, abundant black joy. So, I'll keep it real with you. I got caught up in the rapture of Amazon Prime. In the beginning of the pandemic, middle of the pandemic, a year later in the pandemic, I'm still caught up in the rapture. And I didn't realize I loved shopping until I was able to be at home to collect all of my packages and was able to save a little bit of money because I wasn't brunching or going to happy hour or really spending money on gas. I wasn't going anywhere. And I was buying, not crazy things, but I was buying things I've always wanted. You know, I've always wanted a good pair of quality slippers. And especially now, being at home, working at home, I'm not wearing shoes around the house. Ew, no. I want to wear some comfy, soft, warm slippers because I stay with cold feet. And I've always wanted a Bluetooth waterproof speaker for those times when I'm in the shower and I want to have a concert and I want the music to be just as loud as I am. And so I got those things, and for a moment I felt a little bit guilty. So I'm like, why are you buying all these things? And then I realized I'm in this space every day, 24/7. And I've got a lot of things that make me happy. But sometimes those new things that you've always wanted that really kind of, change the game for you a little, they do that thing that Marie Kondo wants us to do. They spark joy. And it took a moment for me to understand that concept because I've always had a very, very strange relationship with material things. In 2005, I lost my home in Hurricane Katrina. And since then, I have been a tiny little hoarder, a collector of things that I already have, and new things, and holding them so very close, so tight, out of fear of losing them again. And then, years later, a pandemic hits, and I'm in the house, and I'm lonely, and I don't know when I'll ever see my friends and my family, and it starts to make me think, do I need all these things? All of these things don't matter. I want to fill my space with things that actually do matter. So that's kind of why I applied this does it spark joy philosophy to pretty much every purchase that I've ever done in the last year. And I'm not just talking about things from Amazon. I'm talking about food I've ordered. I'm talking about wine I've bought, different types of cheeses, all the things. Does it spark joy? I've used joy as a barometer for what I bring into my life, what leaves my life, and what comes into my space and what I claim as my own. This also applies to people, concepts, ideas. A lot of it is, does this spark joy? Yes, keep it. Nope, you gotta go. That's kind of helped me. I'm a pretty minimal person now. If I need to get up and move, it'll be a pretty quick move. I can just pack all my things and go. Me and all my slippers. I use joy as my barometer for what stays, what goes, and what joins the party already in progress. For example, a few months ago, my good girlfriend, she sent me an Instagram post of this woman in this beautiful, gorgeous silk kimono robe. And she said, Angelique, this needs to be yours. Frankly, there were no exclamation points. It was period. She said, this needs to be yours. So I took a look at it and I was like, ooh, I have always wanted to be a fancy lady who lounges. And I saw the kimono and I was like, this is not quite in my budget, but I'll consider it. So a few weeks went by and I kept seeing the kimono because you know how those algorithms go where you see one thing and just keep seeing it. So I decided I'm going to save my money because my 31st birthday was coming up. It was going to be my first pandemic birthday. And I knew that I needed something. I needed something to make this birthday special because I wasn't going to be able to experience the joy of having all of my favorite humans together for my annual birthday brunch. So I saved my money from each paycheck and I was like, this is for my fancy lady kimono. I saved enough money. I got my kimono and y'all, I have never experienced that kind of simple joy before in my life. It's something so small. It's a beautiful silk kimono with beautiful butterflies and it's this beautiful emerald green color, like it looks like luxury. And it brought me so much joy. Every time I looked at myself in the mirror, I was just like, who is this woman? You look grown. You look happy. You look like you have your life together. And I enjoyed that feeling for once. Now, all I did was prance around my house in my fancy kimono, eating cheese, drinking champagne, and watching my favorite movies. So I tell you this story because I know sometimes we feel a little bit guilty about how we spend our hard-earned money. And I know for sure I am ridiculously grateful to have been able to maintain my full-time job during this pandemic and have been able to save money. I am truly, truly grateful and know that that is a privilege that a lot of people don't have. And that's why I don't take it for granted. That's why I'm very intentional about what I bring into my life. I don't want to just spend my money on things that's going to give me that quickie little joy. No, no, no. I want that lasting joy. Paying bills does not spark joy. But you know what does? Spending my money, donating it to charities. That sparks joy. Sending a little money through Venmo for my homegirl so she can get her some fries because she aced her exam. That sparks joy. Being able to buy my nieces presents all the time. That sparks joy. Time is short and we've got to fill our space with things that spark joy. Marie Kondo was really onto something, y'all. So I challenge you. If you're in an organizing mood, start organizing things. Take inventory of the things that you have, the things that you call yours. And I'm sometimes not just talking about things. I'm also talking about people, talking about concepts, ideas, dreams. And ask yourself, does it spark joy? What does this bring to my life? Does this help me reclaim the joy that was lost during this year? If it does, keep it, cherish it. If it doesn't, it's gotta go, love. It's gotta go. And also, another thing, when you're out shopping or when you're like, I'm itching for something new, before you click purchase, ask yourself, will this spark joy? And I'm not talking about the temporary joy, not that little quickie joy. I'm talking about that lasting joy. It sparks joy in you forever and ever and ever. So, I challenge you, go out there and spark some joy.